Good evening, everyone. Captain Obvious Chia here. How are you? It is precisely midnight. It's midnight and 11 minutes. So I should really be in bed, but since I have never made a correct fucking decision ever in my life, I'm gonna be reading some fics from my friend Elo. I promised I would read this one, um, but then I thought, well, why not make a video? And I also decided to skim the rest of the fics to find some that sounded um, short, but interesting, and they would probably kill me. Um, so yeah, this is the week before Ruby 7 starts. So I'm just really, really, really hungry and thirsty for Ruby um, content. And well, why not? Why not start the week with not start? I mean, it's Tuesday, so it's not really a start. It doesn't matter. It's almost a start. So anyway, why not start the week with reading the Ruby manga, which I already did, and it fucking killed me. And now reading some Bumblebee, and I think it's a Yang focused um, fic afterwards, and then two white roses. Yeah, I don't know if it's platonic or romantic white rose, but doesn't matter. It's it's all nice. So I'm already loving this fic because because of the tags actually. Um, I mean, we have established relationship, sexual content, okay, mild sexual content, all right, implied sexual content, and I'm expecting all of this to be the same sexual content. I mean, just different tags, and then we have listen. I don't even know. Rated M just in case. And yeah, that was out of your comfort zone, so I'm going out of my comfort zone and try to read this on a camera. So wish me luck, and let's hope I don't die. Because angst is a thing, but I don't know. Let's see. She didn't really know how that happened, but there she was, back pressed to the mattress and pinned to the bed by a wild Blake Belladonna. This already starts really nicely. And I know it's probably not gonna be, what I think it is. I mean, I know you. I know you. So this was Inktober Day 5, and the prompt was build. I really hope the microphone isn't too loud. Um, Yang let out a moan. Oh boy. She didn't really know how that happened, but there she was, back pressed to the mattress and pinned to the bed by a wild Blake Belladonna. She always knew she was feisty, but damn, that took her off guard. Blake was on top of her, as usual, straddling her hips between her thighs, wearing only a pair of shorts and a bra, her shirt already taken off long before by Blake herself. I feel you. Oh, and she was kissing her. Yeah, I'm already liking this. Hot, madly, driven by something that Yang could only call animalistic. But she knew better than to say it out loud. Yeah, it's probably better. Saying that Blake was eager was a euphemism. She was now giving all of her attention to her neck, clearly determined to give her all the hickeys she could. Oh, that's kinda not good for your health. To mark her as her own, all the skin she had available. And it was a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's Yang. Sorry. Yang was just laying there undergoing that treatment, only dressed in her underwear. Her clothes long gone even before Blake removed her own, obviously. Um, it felt hot, really hot, almost unbearable despite the nature of her semblance. and Yang wondered how it was even possible to feel so much heat despite her lack of clothing. Let me just check something. Yeah, it's recording. Okay, I was scared. All of that was new and exciting. Yang even wanted to try and reciprocate in some way, but couldn't find the strength to do so. Only able to grip on the Fauna's shoulders, her only grip to reality at the moment. I know you. I feel you. I know what you feel. Jesus, English is really hard today, sorry. It was exciting, new, and unbelievably scary. Yeah, sometimes. Yang didn't know if it was her lack of experience or the awareness of Blake's experience self. Something she would have guessed anyway, even without telling her. Blake's sure and confident movement being more than a clear giveaway. But something was off. Ooh. Her heart was beating hard against her chest out of love, adrenaline, but also fear. It was hard to admit, but it wasn't the good kind of feeling. Ooh. It wasn't just the beating of a strong emotion. It was the kind that puts you off, the one where its force alone worries you if it's even normal, where your head feels empty and the hint of nausea picks out your stomach. Yeah, I know that. Something was wrong, and it was wrong, and Yang knew that differently from the animal comment. That was something she should have actually speak out about, sorry, but she couldn't. Not when Blake was there in her lap, completely driven and lost in her. Not when Yang could feel Blake's own heat and tension that got built up just by trying to work her up. Yang bit her lip and closed her eyes, deciding to stay silent and so desperately trying to enjoy what was becoming more and more like a torture each minute that passed by, and not the good kind. Blake's lips went on their journey towards Yang's breasts, stopping on her chest to give a long and more chaste kiss right over her heart. Sorry. And the blonde feared her partner might have been able to decipher her true feelings by that gesture alone. Oh boy, oh boy. Then, in complete contrast with the chastity of that kiss, Blake moved her hips in a hard roll, effectively grinding against the blonde's. Yeah, this would be really sexy if that wasn't happening. That was a breaking point for Yang. She let out a high-pitched cry and Blake smiled against her skin, misunderstanding the nature of her reaction. Oh my god, poor baby. Blake got up with a smug grin and predator eyes, ready to enjoy the results of her work, but didn't find quite what she was expecting. It wasn't the way Yang thought that would happen, but Blake was bound to figure her out. Of course she would have. She was smart and Yang knew that. How could have she thought even for a second that she could have fooled her? In her defense though, she was definitely not thinking straight. Is she ever? Yang? The Faunus called, her puzzled look quickly turning into a worried one. Are you okay? Asking seemed almost a formality after giving a good look at her. Yang was panting, sweaty, and her heart beat so hard in her ribcage that it made her breast slightly move as a consequence. Oof. Her face was bright red, her eyes teary, and even if in those circumstances it might have looked normal, even something to be proud of on Blake's regard, Yang's expression told a totally different story. Oh boy. Despite the answer being clear as a bell, Yang looked away, muttering a yes. She couldn't fool anyone, let alone her girlfriend. Yeah. Blake kept a bit of distance, but reached out a hand to gently caress her cheek and bring her eyes to focus on her again. Do you want to stop? Yang couldn't lie this time. Yes, she burst out with urgency, but also a bit of shame. No shame in doing that. Blake moved away from Yang's lap, and the blonde sat up, taking a deep, liberating breath. Jesus, English is really hard today. Sorry. The couple was now sitting side by side on the bed. Yang ashamedly looking down, while Blake looked at her with concern, stroking her arm in an attempt to bring some comfort. That only made Yang feel worse. I'm sorry. Don't be, baby. Don't apologize for wanting to stop. Blake readily replied. You should rather apologize for not saying anything. Yang, if you feel uncomfortable, why didn't you tell me sooner? I don't know. I didn't want to disappoint you. You really wanted it, and I didn't want to ruin this. Oh, baby. Yang, you wouldn't ruin anything. You should have told me. Pressuring you is the last thing I wanted. And I didn't mean to force you on it. Into it, sorry. But you didn't. Yang interjected immediately before Blake could start to blame herself, just like Yang knew she would. Yeah, she does that. You didn't force me in any way. I promise. I just followed the lead. Do you want this? Blake asked after a moment of silence. Yes, of course I do. I just Yang turned away again. You're not ready. I'm sorry. Yang. Blake caressed her fiery blonde hair, then guided her head to rest beside her, on the crook of her neck. It's okay to not be ready. I can wait, as long as you need. Even if you'll never be ready. I love you. I love you too. Yang's response was immediate this time, and moved away from her comfortable and reassuring spot on Blake's shoulder to kiss her. So, Blake started after separating from the kiss. How about a movie and cuddles on the couch? Only if we manage to sneak in some making out between those cuddles. Blake smiled. The plain playfulness of her lover was back, and she couldn't be happier. Her Yang was fine. I think we can arrange that. Oh, that was so sweet. I love it. I really love it. Oh my god. Yang, there's no pressure and no shame, and yeah, Blake is right. Just they can wait forever if needed. Just that was so sweet. I love it. Whereas yes, exactly. I love it. I really love it. Okay, let's dive a bit more. This isn't yeah, it's not too big. I think we can fit this as well. That's what she said. Sorry, I make jokes when I'm uncomfortable, as I always am when there's a camera in front of me. Okay. So the next fic is All Our Days, and it's about it's about Ruby and Yang mostly, I guess. It was Inktober day 8, and the prompt was frail. Sorry. Okay, so it's fluff. Thank you. Bonds are frail even when it doesn't seem like it, especially if it doesn't seem like it. The closer, the frailer, like families, mostly like families. It is where you have something to lose, something to fight for, something you either fight to protect or to keep together. Yang was only 2 when they announced to her, "You're going to have a little sister, a new playmate." Most kids get jealous and upset upon hearing that kind of news, but Yang was happy and impatient to meet her soon-to-be bestest friend. To greet to the world and teach her everything she gained in her 2 happy years of life. Yeah, she probably learned a lot. Potty training and such. Sorry. She dreamed and dreamed of all the things they could have done together, all the songs she would have teach her to sing together. When the day finally came, Summer didn't hesitate for a second. Yang, meet Ruby. Yang had to get to the tips of her toes to give her a proper look. Ruby was so tiny and puffy, and she was crying a lot. Yeah, that's what babies do. Not even that managed to annoy her. She was perfect. Yes, she is. Ruby is perfect. I love her. She's my daughter. For some reason, their parents decided to let her hold the newborn baby. Oh boy. Ruby observed her with her big silver eyes and stopped crying. Oh, little Yang smiled. Welcome to the family. Ruby seemed to smile at her too, and it was in that moment that Yang promised herself she'd be the best big sister ever, and always protect her and take care of her. Ruby, her little sister. Okay. Yeah. That could have easily been the cute vow of an already in love bigger sister and nothing more. But fate had other plans. Yeah. With both Summer and Tygon, with whom physically and whom mentally the responsibility to take care of Ruby fell on Yang's little young shoulders. In that moment, her vow, made as a little kid, assumed a new, deeper meaning. She accepted it in a heartbeat. For her, Ruby, anything. And that became her mantra, her last thought at night, and what made her get up in the morning. Oh, it was hard but worth it, the stakes too high. Oh, baby. With her family at the edge of collapsing, she was the only thing there to prevent it. Sorry. She kept on going. Got sure Ruby learned everything she needed during her developing years at the expense of her own. It was worth it. On her way to becoming the best huntress of her generation, Ruby was finally capable of taking care of herself, and Yang's load got lighter. More time to relax, to find answers, to find Raven. There was relief in that, but also grief, because Ruby was growing just like her. No more playing games, and responsibilities started to grow on them since their arrival at Beacon, slowly turning into something way bigger than them. Yeah. Young embraced it anyway. She was no stranger to lifting weights bigger than her. But part of her missed the little girl who dreamed to be the hero. Just like you, she used to say. How the tables have turned. This is. Oh boy. Just look at her now, using the same bright eyes who looked up at her to save the world. Ruby was her hero now, and she couldn't feel more proud. I love all our days, by the way. Team Ruby faced it all: war, love, and loss, as the family they didn't realize they already were. The family they'd soon become. Just like in Ruby's heroic fairy tales and Blake's finest literature, as cliched as it sounded, love bloomed in the battlefield, and everything that happened led them to this exact moment, bringing Ruby to the altar. Oh, okay. Weiss is waiting, agitated, beside her bridesmaid Blake, who is encouragingly looking at Yang. So we have 3 white roses, I guess. I'm not sure I'm gonna read the other 2 in this video. It's gonna be way too long. I'm sorry. Um, the blonde answers to her with a smile. The ceremony goes on just fine. Yang still doesn't understand why Tai let her be the one to bring Ruby to the altar, but it felt joyful and sad at the same time. Or maybe she does know, but it's easier for her to just ignore it. To ignore how it just makes sense since she's been the one who basically raised her. Oh, baby. You deserve that spot. It's time for the throwing of the bouquet, and Yang sitting at her table sipping her champagne, being one of the few guests with a ring on their finger already. Obviously. Blake is quick to join her, being the one who put it there in the first place. Obviously. Does it have a B? Is it a ring with a B? Sorry. Nora is obviously over the top, and it's shaping to be a great show. Want some? Yang offers some of her drink, but Blake politely declines. You sure? I saw you barely drink anything but water today. Blake nods. I'm good. Plus, this is a day I want to remember. You don't have to drink until you're, too drunk to remember shit. Just saying. Yang looks back at her sister. Nora bullied her way to the flowers. Weiss is scolding her, and Ruby is laughing to tears. Of course she is. She then notices her and waves. Yang waves back. Yeah, I agree. Her eyes are shining, residue of a promise she made a long time ago. A promise she intends to keep for the rest of her days. She just happens not to be the only one anymore. Blake can't keep her eyes off her. You'll be a great mother. You say that like I'm gonna be one soon, Yang laughs. Blake doesn't. Yang what? Yang stops. Blake, you don't mean. The fawness can't hide her smile anymore, and brings Yang's hand to her belly. Yang thought this day couldn't become better or happier. She was so wrong. Well then, I was not expecting that. There's strength beyond fragility, the strength to protect your loved ones, the will to fight of a newborn, a new life that will bless them with both weakness and strength by its existence alone. Oh, I like this one. I really like this one. Team Ruby and all of their friends are just like that. A partnership that turned into something more. A family that made them more powerful and exposed than ever, but a family nonetheless. A family more than ready to welcome a new member. That's what Yang likes to think. How she knows it's going to be. For all our days. Oh god, this was so cute! I was not expecting it. I did. I was not expecting that last part. That was so cute. I love it. I mean, first it became White Rose. I thought it was gonna be, I thought it was gonna be just Blake and like I thought it was just gonna be Yang and Ruby, but there was a bit of everything here. I love it. Oh my god. Okay, this is becoming really really big, so I'm gonna stop this here, and maybe I'll do another one later for the other two because I am actually curious about the two white roses, but it's gonna depend on my free time, maybe tomorrow. Okay. Um, I really loved this one, and I loved the other one. The other one was super nice. I really like, um, those fics. I mean, um, how do I say this? I really like, I really like my smut. I like my fluff. That one was something in between, you know. And I really really liked the the whole. Uh, it was really realistic how Yang, couldn't say anything in fear, despite knowing, probably knowing inside that Blake would be fine with it, but not really even wanting Blake to be fine with it. Like wanting Blake to have to be fine with it. But then, her whole body just gives away all of her feelings and emotions, and Blake just looks at her one time and instantly knows something is off. Um, and she just accepts it, and she makes it all better by just saying the right words, and diffusing the situation, and just moving into something both of them are comfortable with, which is uh, you know watching TV and just generally making out, just kisses and cuddles. And I really like that. I think it's very realistic. I have been in both sides of that situation, and I think it's just really really well written. you know I really enjoyed that one, and I can see why you wanted me to read it, because it's just, yeah, I really really liked it, and I think you should step out of your comfort zone a bit more, because top. Not sure if this means anything bad in Italy. If it does, I'm sorry, but I mean, how do you say it in Italy that something is really good? Do you pull your ear? Anyway, yeah, very good. So yeah, I think that's it. Um, See you next time.